What's really built at NEOM in 2025? No renders, no hype, just proof you can stand on. Here's the quick reality. You can fly into NEOM Bay Airport on scheduled routes. There's a working port, the former Duba port, now under the NEOM umbrella, handling real cargo while expansion builds next door. There are film studios and production villages that have been hosting shoots, and there are massive workforce communities, the literal towns that keep the machines moving. The line is in early segments, Trojena is under construction in the mountains, Sindalah had moments of hype but isn't the day trip playground the promos made it feel like yet. So today's video is a ground pass. Airport, studios, port, worker towns. Then what's still coming and what likely slips. No drama, no dunking, just a straight cinematic inventory of what exists and what it means for the next 5 years. NEOM was pitched around 4 hero projects. The Line, a mirrored linear city stretching through the desert. Oxagon, a futuristic port and industrial hub on the Red Sea, Trojena, a high-altitude alpine resort carved into mountain slopes, and Sindalah, a luxury island lined with yachts and glassy resorts off the coast. Together, they symbolize speed, scale, and spectacle. The promise of a sci-fi future now meeting the slower, dustier reality of construction and reprioritization. Budget pressure, leadership changes, and contractor realities forced a reshuffle. Instead of opening with the most ambitious architecture, the team leaned into the infrastructure backbone: air, sea, power, housing, and content production. It's not as meme-able as a mirrored wall cutting through desert, but it's a sensible order of operations. Planes first, cranes second, prestige last. Why that matters for us today. The places regular people can interact with in 2025 are the connective tissues. An airport you can fly through. A port bringing in blades, beams, and boxes. Studios making content now. Thousands of beds, kitchens, buses, and substations that never make it into a teaser. So when we evaluate what's built, we're reading the logistics ledger, not the render. Airports and ports are like heartbeat monitors for megaprojects. Steady beats mean the patient's alive. Spikes and gaps tell you where attention is going next. By the end, you'll know what's real on the ground, what's likely next, and what needs a longer runway. Let's map it. Start on the Gulf of Aqaba coast. NEOM Bay Airport is operational. Think modest terminal, scheduled services, domestic plus seasonal and regional links. If you want the most tangible NEOM experience today, it starts at check-in. Travel 10 minutes along the shore and you hit the port of NEOM, the long-running commercial port that's being expanded. Picture existing berths working now, with the new automated kit arriving and a larger terminal under construction next door. Old port keeps commerce moving, new port scales capacity. Northwest, carved inland, sit the Media Village and Bajda Studios. These are real sound stages and support spaces. Crews are on the ground, trucks in the lots, grip gear on the move. If you're a filmmaker, this is the part that's simply practical. Spread across the coastal plain are worker communities, thousands of beds, mess halls, clinics, recreation, not glamorous, crucial. They anchor the labor force. Now glance up to the mountains. Trojena, ongoing works, resorts and lifts planned, winter sports branding, but as of 2025, this is a construction zone, not a weekend getaway. Pivot back out to sea, Sindalah Island. Hype cycle, big, public access, limited. It's not a plug-and-play Riviera yet. I really want to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so it will mean a lot to me if you subscribe. Props tell you who's in charge. Here, 3 props rule. Planes, cranes, and badges. Planes. Every ticket sold into NEOM is proof of baseline demand. Contractors, officials, crews. Whoever controls the flight schedule controls the tempo of people. Cranes. At the port and on the coast, cranes decide what gets lifted when. If you see automated gantries installing, you're watching capital bet on throughput. That's power. Literal tonnage per hour. Badges, access cards, high-vis vests, and gate lanes. The people who glide through checkpoints without stopping are the ones moving the story. Now the camera. Keep it near human height. Wide frames show the empty desert margins. Tight frames pack cranes into the skyline. Tilt up and port hardware dominates. Tilt down and the worker towns take the lead. The center of frame, always watch who owns it. Airport signage, a port logo on a container, or a crew chief in a hard hat. That's the geometry of power. control of foreground objects, not just the horizon line. The marketing rhythm is jump cut quick, music swells, drone whip pans, big reveals. The construction rhythm is patient, pile drivers, backup beepers, the long take of a convoy. Let's feel that. The turning point came when reports stacked up about scope trims, timeline shifts, and leadership changes. The headline version: near-term segments of the line are smaller. The broader vision stretches further into the 2030s. Budgets got a haircut. Priorities moved to assets that move assets. Why that flips expectations? The early promise positioned architecture as the lead character. The reality says the supporting cast, airport, port, power, housing, studios, carries the first act. It's not defeat, it's pacing. In practice, this means you'll keep seeing earthworks, quay walls, and utility corridors before you see long, continuous habitable sections of mirrored facade. It means Trojena will show cranes and cables before chalets. It means Sindalah can market, but true open for everyone energy depends on service cadence, not just yachts. For viewers, the lesson is simple. When a mega build pivots to logistics, don't read that as retreat. Read it as the scaffold phase. If the scaffold holds, air routes stabilize, port throughput climbing, crews housed, then the signature architecture can land later without buckling. The next are operational. You can actually visit these today. First, NEOM Bay Airport. Scheduled flights, compact, functional, and growing step by step. If you could film just one real piece of NEOM, this would be it. The lock shot. Second, Port of NEOM. Fully active port operations, containers, bulk cargo, roll-on, roll-off ships. The new terminal is still rising in the background, but vessels already dock at the legacy side. Next, Media Village and boldest studios. Sound stages, support buildings, trucks in, shoots out. Quietly, this is the most normal and the most productive part of NEOM right now. At least workforce communities, housing, dining halls, transport hubs, clinics. No postcard views here, just the backbone that keeps everything running. The following are still under construction. Let's walk through them. At first, port expansion, Terminal 1, new automated cranes, a longer quay, coming online later than planned. The idea: build capacity first so the rest can follow. Second, the line, early nodes, groundworks and underground sections are visible. You'll hear talk about a hidden marina, but what you actually see today are isolated segments, not a continuous city. Next, NEOM Green Hydrogen Oxagon, a massive plant with long-term ambition. Civil works and equipment deliveries are moving ahead, but first production has slipped past the early targets. Then Trojena, an alpine-style resort. Ski lifts marking their territory. Pieces are forming, it's real but still under construction. Last but not least, Sindalah. The luxury island you've seen in the promos. In reality, access is tighter and progress narrower than the glossy videos suggest. If you follow the logistics, the near-term unlock is the port expansion. More quay, more cranes, more containers. That improves every other schedule because steel and equipment stop bottlenecking. Second, airport capacity. Even a modest bump in weekly seats smooths contractor rotations and inspection travel. That's invisible on a billboard, but it's everything on a Gantt chart. Third, power and fuels. The green hydrogen complex is a heavy lift. Electrolyzers, substations, transmission. Even before full output, partial energization can backstop construction and limited pilots. Fourth, select hospitality tied to crews and officials rather than destination tourism. Think service departments near work clusters long before 5-star everything. Wildcard, media. If the studios keep attracting productions, they build an exportable culture around NEOM faster than skyline shots. A few assured seasons of content make the place feel lived in to viewers, which is free marketing for later openings. So the likely sequence isn't headline first, it's throughput first. That's how you turn a render into a routine. Quick lessons: map the space before the render, follow planes, cranes, and badges, trust the silence, treat turning points as pacing, throughput unlocks the icons.